Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and today I'm playing along with the Mix It Up Monday run by Tara, the Paper Snob, here on YouTube, and we're using this sketch here by Shannon Glenn. Now this is a hop that's run every month, and we mix it up with all the different types of media that you can use on a layout to create something that is unique and your very own. So today I've decided that I'm going to create my background totally, and I am using a technique that I just learned by watching the scrapbooking photographer who is here on YouTube as well, Linda, and I have copied her technique to create my own wood grain. Now it is brilliant, it's so simple and everybody can do it. Now what you can see here is I'm using an embossing scoring tool on my cutter, but if you don't have that, you could use your scoring board if you have a scoring board, or you could just use a pen down the track of your cutter to do the same process. So what I'm doing is I'm creating ridges like paneling in wood, and so I'm just doing them a little bit deeper, and I turn the paper over onto the unfinished side so that the grooves will show on the finished side, which is the textured weave of this cardstock. Now this is one of my favorite colored cardstocks. It's the smoky steel blue, and I absolutely love this color, and so I thought I'm going to do for this layout a full mixed media background, and so you can see those ridges in there now that I have put in using the embossing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this distress ink in the picket fence down the panels, and it gives like a weathered wood effect. Now isn't that just spectacular? And I watched the scrapbooking photographer do one in her recent videos, and I thought, what an amazing technique, and I can tell you it is going to become a favorite. I love anything wood grain, and this is creating your own. How clever, and it's so simple. I can't believe it's such a great thing to do. So I'm just run it across with my white ink, distress ink, and I am using ink because I want it to just sit on that cardstock nicely. However, that is now just looking like a whitewashed fence, but I want it to look like a bit aged, and you can see those grooves being picked up by that ink there. So I'm using some black soot now, and I'm just going to do it roughly, not as much as I did with the white, but I'm going to do it at random spots throughout this background, and that's going to pick up the highlights a little bit more and add that little bit more rustic feel to it to give that weathered look to the cardstock. So that one there is the black soot, and I used picket fence as well. So now that I've done that, I'm going to add in some modelling paste through this stencil, and it's a great stencil, and it's going to create a semi-wreath type of effect to the layout. And I'm putting that in behind where Shannon has the photo blocks on her sketch, just to add some dimension and some interest to that background, and also to build the effect of a wreath onto the layout. I'm going to use this decorative corner stencil as well to put into the two corners, just to add some interest and a focal point for the eye, and it just builds up that background really well. Now I can't believe how simple that technique to create your own wood grain effect is, and I really encourage you to have a go. It's very easy to achieve. So I am now going to use the Dina Wakley white stain. It is opaque, so it does go on nice and thick, and it does give very standout splatters onto this layout. So my mixed media that I've used in my background is ink, distress ink in two colours. I've used some modelling paste, and I've now used the paint splatters. So I've got some mixed media happening on my layout. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and when it's dry I've come back, as you can see, and I actually left that overnight to dry. So I have my photos, which were taken in 2013. So I am not a chronological scrapper, not by any means, not in any shape or form. I have so many photos that every now and then I go through them again and I find ones that take my fancy. And these photos I had printed in 3 by 4, and so I have trimmed them down to 3 by 3 squares in most cases, except for this one here in the center, which I couldn't trim down any further without losing the effect. So I mounted the photos, the 3 by 3s, and that has allowed it to line up into the same formation that Shannon had on the sketch. So just like Shannon has on the sketch, I'm going to put some stitching in it, but I'm using a stamp to put the stitching in, and I'm just going to put a little bit of cardstock underneath because I don't want it to go right across the whole layout. I just want it just across the bottom there, across that bottom photo, like Shannon has in her sketch, and I'm going to do it in reverse at the top here across this top photo. As I said, these are my children from 2013 when we went tree hunting. We always try to go Christmas tree hunting every year and buy a fresh tree. This year they were fooling around pretending that they were Christmas angels on the stumps, and they were showing off their poses. Now, my little one there in the pink and the green over to the right, she's now 20, so that gives you an idea of how much different they are in ages now. My eldest up there in the corner, he's my firefighter, he is 32, so these were taken quite a while ago, but like I said, I'm not a chronological scrapper. They eventually get into albums, and these ones are now finally going to be in an album. So I've die cut these boughs here, the Christmas boughs I call them. They're just the pine cone needles, and I've done them in the white because I wanted to keep it pretty monochromatic for this layout. I've got that title in, Christmas Angels, and that was also die cut using a candy cane alpha set that I have. And I fussy cut a poinsettia, which I'm adding to the bottom collection of boughs. I really do need to find some pine cones in a die set, so that will be my next hunt when I go looking for dies. And I've just added in some holly leaves up here to the top one, which I'm then going to top off down here at the bottom as well to draw the eye around. And I'm going to use pops of colour in the red to add the berries onto this collection of holly here in the corner. And I'm going to flick that underneath to flatten it out to give those berry effects, and I'm putting it down here at the bottom as well, and you can see it just reflects that poinsettia colour beautifully. So now I've stayed really true to the sketch. I've just tried to copy it nicely. I'm adding in now some Nouveau drops in the copper sparkle, just to add that little bit of Christmas sparkle to it and to set up a visual triangle of the 3 so that your eye roams around nicely, covering the whole layout. So that's how it's all come together. There's lots of people playing along in the hop. Just put a bit of stickles there in the middle of the poinsettia so that you can see it all sparkly and Christmassy. Yeah, as I said, there's lots of people playing along this hop, and I'm sure when you watch the other people, they have all added their own flavour to the layout, their own individuality. To finish off this layout, I thought I would pop in some word phrases in there just about each of the children so that they reflect their personalities. They are quite unique individuals, all 5 of them, very different from each other yet very similar. So I've just added those word phrases in to finish off that layout there. So you can say, this is so you, that's my son, and then it says good times, then it's there for so you, and then just having fun, and the other one is Lily, of course, doing her usual pose. She just is a poser, has always been. So there's my layout, and it said you shine, and that's what she does. Full playlist is linked down below. Please go and check out everybody and give them a thumbs up. Join us every month for this hop. It is great. I hope I've done enough to make you give me a thumbs up. YouTube loves those thumbs up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Here's my next video that I recommend you watch. Happy scrapping. Until next time.